name is Megan Edwards of Focus Communications, and today we're getting a management introduction from Rackla Metals, which trades on the TSX.V under the symbol RAK. And joining me is Rackla's newly appointed VP Exploration, Scott Casselman. Scott, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
To start things off, Scott, why don't you give us an overview of your background?
So I've been in the mineral exploration industry for 37 years now. The first part of that, up until about 8 years ago, I did a variety of exploration activities in a variety of locations around the world, mostly focused on precious metals, a lot of work in porphyry coppers, but there's also a little experience in nickel, limestone, industrial limestone applications, some diamond work. And working in jurisdictions from Argentina to Indonesia to Turkey to Canada, right across Canada, including the 3 Northern Territories most recently. The last 8 years, I was working with the Yukon Geological Survey as the head of mineral services. And then I was given this opportunity to join Rackla, and I thought, this might be a fun time to get back into the exploration side of things.
Absolutely. And that kind of brings me to my next question. With decades of experience in Yukon and Northwest Territories, you must know the ins and outs of every deposit. And for those new to the area, could you provide a bit of history on the Tombstone Gold Belt where Rackla's Astro project is located?
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen a lot in the Yukon. I don't know everything there is to know. There's always stuff to learn. But the Tombstone Gold Belt has been active for 20-ish years or so and recognized for about that long. It's getting a lot of recognition these last couple of years because there's been a renewed focus on some of the projects there. Some very significant discoveries have been made from that, and we've got a number of new companies announcing resource numbers within a very short period of time of doing their exploration. So Rackla has tied on to that good news and acquired some very interesting projects, starting with an acquisition right on the Northwest Territories Yukon border called Astro. And then they've been adding to that through claim staking and other property options moving westward into the Yukon and we're presently looking for other opportunities on the Yukon side.
So on the Astro project, your team has the benefit of a fair amount of historical work to build off of. As a new person to Rackla, what excites you about this opportunity?
Well, just the acquisition itself. I was surprised at what Simon Ridgway, our CEO, was able to do in acquiring this property. As you mentioned, there has been a reasonable amount of work done on it, but it was in a kind of a different era of exploration in the Yukon and Northwest Territories. The focus of that work was done when people were mostly looking for Carlin-type sediment-hosted gold occurrences due to a discovery on the Yukon side by TAC Resources. So Newmont and Evrim Resources partnered up to look for similar style of sediment-hosted gold in the Northwest Territories on Astro. And they came up with a number of very high-grade gold in stream sediment samples. They followed that up with soil sampling, continued to get high-grade, high gold values in the soils. They did some mapping, trenching, surface sampling, focusing again primarily on the sediments, the shales. Continued to get good values there, and drilled a few holes, which ended up being a little bit disappointing. The drilling was focused again on the sediments because of the target style they were after. But in that drilling, when some of the holes penetrated into the granitic rocks, they were getting anomalous gold values. Wasn't quite the target they were after, wasn't quite the high grade numbers they were looking for. But it was the start of what we now recognize to be potentially a reduced intrusion related gold system. And that gold that they were getting in the streams, in the soils, in the rock samples is probably related to an RRIGS. So that's what we're going to target. We're going in with a look towards a different model. And because of these discoveries that I mentioned earlier on the Yukon side, that belt continues right through where our Astro property is.
And I know you're new to this role, but just to put you on the spot a little bit, what can we expect from Rackla in the next 4 to 6 months along the Tombstone Gold Belt?
We're gearing up now. Rackla has been quiet for the last few years, so we're gearing up, staffing up for a big program. We've got a lot of work ahead of us. We want to hit the ground running this year. and we're hoping to take what we know and define some drill targets to be drilling before the end of the season. We're going to be following up on all of that work with a slight focus of moving out of the sedimentary rocks into the intrusive rocks. We're expecting to do some more airborne geophysical surveying, more stream sed, more soil sampling, rock sampling, trenching, and right to the drill stage. So we're really excited to get in there now that we think we may know what was causing all of those gold anomalies that weren't fully explained. And we'll be out there as soon as we can and going as long as we can this year.
Right. Well, we appreciate your time today, Scott. Best of luck out there in the field. And we look forward to having you back on soon for additional updates on Rackla.
Thank you very much. I hope to be back with some significant updates.